Hello everyone, this is Search Darlington once again, and we are here to handle this question. So you've been given a data set from Cargo and it's of life expectancy. So first and foremost, we are supposed to perform a multiple linear regression analysis, and we are going to basically use our SPSS to handle this, and then we are going to simulate. Okay, so let me hope you all have the SPSS already installed in your machines so that we can start right away. So if you have it, yeah, you go ahead and download that data from Cargo, then you're good to go. After there, you come directly to your SPSS, and then you import your data. It will be in form of Excel. Then you'll have to import it and put it in the SPSS. So after, the data will come in this format, but you'll be required to first clean your data. For example, what do I mean by clean? It is simply making or giving this data some kind of sense. Yeah, for example, here with alignment, you can basically give it a right alignment, center alignment. For example, you might have a year. It might come with a measure that is not clear. For example, if it's a year, you should give it a scale measure, something like that. That is what I mean. So if you go to our data view here, you are seeing that we're having countries, years, what. Okay, I think we are good to go. Now let me start explaining the real concept here. So in the question, they are telling us that we're supposed to perform a multiple linear regression, and we are centering it on life expectancy, basing on the socio-economic factors such as GDP, adult mortality, and immunization. So here, it is simple. We are just going to go to analyze. After going to analyze, we come here where we see the word regression. After going to regression, we come here and we do linear. So now, first and foremost, there are very many forms of regression. For example, there is what we call a simple regression. But with simple regression, we are only dealing with only one factor. I hope you understand. We're only dealing with one factor. But this is multiple regression. So we are dealing with a lot of factors affecting the dependent the dependent variable. So here our dependent variable is basically the life expectancy. So you put it here, and other factors that they wanted in the question, they wanted adult mortality, they wanted the GDP, and others are the immunizable diseases that are hepatitis, measles, polio, and basically diphtheria. After there, you'll come to statistics. Then you click on statistics. Then you'll have to include the R-squared changes, the descriptives that are used to identify either the mean, the standard deviation, and others. With the part and partial correlations, we use it to see how do they connect to each other. As you see correlation, we want to see that connectivity, that connection that they have. Then we also include the estimates here, and then finally the case-wise diagnostics. After, you'll click OK. Then we shall come to plot. With plotting, we are supposed, as you know, when we are plotting, we should have an X and Y axis. So on the XY axis, we are going to have the Z pred, which basically means the Z predictors. And then on Y axis, we are going to have the Z raised, which basically means the Z residential. Then you will click on the histogram if you want it, and the normal probability of plot if you want it. Then we shall come here to save and add what we call the Cook's distance. It is very important to add it to the data. Then after you click OK. After you're done there, then you proceed and you press OK. So it will bring this output. I hope you see it very clearly. So we are saying that with descriptive statistics, as I explained earlier, that we use this if you want to see the mean, as you're seeing statistics. Okay? Yeah, we have mean, standard deviation, amongst others. So this is the mean of the life expectancy, the mean of adult mortality, and their respective standard deviations. After here, we are having what we call the correlations. How do they connect? Like how do they interchange? Something like that. So we are going to continue. We are having the first one, as you can see it, life expectancy with life expectancy. That is obviously going to be 1 because it's the same thing. But if we come here we to life expectancy and adult mortality, you can see it here. The way they are what? They are correlating. So basically that's the logic there. So if we come here at the model summary, we already have our predicators, and you're seeing them, the ones that we include: diphtheria, measles, GDP, and others. So our dependent variable is life expectancy. So if we come here, we are having the ANOVA. Still we are highlighting the residue and the regression and their significances. We have the coefficients. We are seeing how they are significant. For example, here, since our dependent variable is life expectancy, and we want to see how these ones are significantly affecting the dependent variables. How are these independent variables affecting the dependent variables? For example, here having adult mortality, and we are seeing its significance. And if it's having a less than side, it means that it is affecting it highly. You understand? So that means that adult mortality is affecting it very highly, and GDP the same. Hepatitis B, no, it is there, but it is not so significant. The same applies to measles and others. So that is basically the explanation of that. And after here, let us see the charts. As you can see, we are having the histogram here. Basically, we are having the normal PP curve, and then the scatter plot, as you can see it. So now that is basically question number 1 that asked us about the regression analysis. So now we are going to head to question number 2, where they wanted us to talk about the simulation. So here we are going to come and we are going to simulate. We are going to come at analyze, and then we shall click on simulation. After clicking on simulation, we shall just come here and say create simulated data, and then you press OK. So after pressing OK, we shall have here, they told us that we are supposed to simulate the GDP, the life expectancy. We put it in this fields to be simulated. They told us to simulate the GDP, and then lastly the life expectancy. Life expectancy, I included it. Then mortality is the last one, adult mortality. Then we include it. Adult mortality, then we include it. So after here, you go right to simulation. Then after that, we shall come and say that we are supposed to fit all, since we are going to handle all of it. Give it some time. Okay, we are supposed to fit it again. So if it brings that, you basically fit it all again. So after here, we go on run. So basically this is the simulation run of our project. And as I explained to you earlier, that with descriptive statistics, we are basically dealing with their mean, standard deviation, what is the maximum number, what is the minimum number, and you can see it. These are our fields that we simulated: adult mortality, the GDP, and basically the life expectancy. Then after simulating, they are giving us such results. And with correlation, it is basically how are they, as I explained to you, how are they correlating? Like, what is the connection between how does this affect this? How does this affect this? So with simulation, you can identify this pattern. Yeah, I hope we are together, and that is how we do simulation. So after here, the last part of the question was, they wanted us to, they're telling us that we are supposed to validate validate your model. Sorry, let me highlight this again. They are telling us to validate your model by comparing the predicted values with the actual life experience values. Okay, I'm going to just explain this briefly. So remember, we have done what we call multiple linear regression analysis. So we considered factors such as GDP, adult mortality, and immunization rates to be affecting life expectancy. So this basically means that for this question, we are going to compare other factors that are affecting life expectancy apart from these ones that we talked about. For example, if we come to our data, we are seeing other factors here. As you can see, alcohol, it is the social, it is still affecting. We have what we call income earning. Okay, incomes. They are affecting economically. So we are talking about other factors apart from the ones that we discussed earlier that are still affecting life expectancy. Then you do the same thing that we did with multiple linear regression. Then after there, we compare, we see, okay, the other rates, how they were affecting, and this rate, how we are affecting. Then we can come up with the conclusion and we say, basing on this and this should be the final result. Yeah, so that is how we address those questions, and I hope you are following. And if you still have any part that you didn't understand, you write down it in the comment section, and then we see how I can address it. But with that, allow me to stop from here, and we shall pick up later. I remain Historical Darlington. Don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel. Thank you.